This entryway is just incredible, isn't it?
It is amazing.
I mean, look at the leaded glass windows, right? This is one of the original staircases to Henry Huttleston Rogers Mansion. The other one is in another mansion up in Boston. But can you think of what it took to take this whole staircase and move it and preserve it and put it in this house?
Well, not just that, but also, right, the history of this space.
Yeah.
And who saw these stairs when they were entering into Huttleston's
of course.
mansion?
Yeah. So Henry worked for John D. Rockefeller, right?
Right.
His second-hand man. He was real good friends with Mark Twain.
That is incredible.
Mark was hanging out with him all the time.
Right.
He sponsored Helen Keller. Booker T. Washington was another close friend.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Mark Twain in his hat, coming up these stairs, going to give Henry Huttleston Rogers, just a ribbing.
I love it.
Grab him, come smoke a couple of cigars. I mean, think about that, right? And it's still here.
Yeah. The fact that it was preserved and just all the craftsmanship that's in the woodwork here.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, they brought in all of these workers from Europe, right?
Johannes Kirchmeier actually came over with his whole entire crew. And Henry Huttleston Rogers not only had him build his mansion, which was an 85-room summer house, as he referred to it as, but he had him build many of the buildings throughout the entire town of Fairhaven.
Right.
So when they finished one project, they did another and another. And the mansion was actually, I think, one of the last buildings that they made in 1894.
Okay. Yeah, this reminds me a little bit of pieces of the library
It should.
in town and town hall.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, right? All the details that were preserved here. The floor, right? Look at these nice, thin oak boards. I mean, all of this was in the original mansion, which was just down the street.
Right.
The doors, I mean, look at the molding details.
Oh, I love this bead that's
It's incredible.
in here. This dining room is amazing. It's like stepping back in time. Right? The curved glass on the windows.
Yeah.
The tile on the fireplace.
Oh, it's all so intricate.
Yeah.
And all things that not only would be very difficult to do today, it's all irreplaceable. All the details you're picking up on here, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at a picture of Henry Huttleston Rogers Mansion, and you get your eyes on the front of it, you can see these curved windows, this set of three.
Oh, that's so
proud,
cool.
Standing center, just as part of that mansion.
I love it.
So you can imagine what happened when the mansion got disassembled. And unfortunately, it only stood for 20 years. Henry Huttleston Rogers' son, Harry, tried to give it to the town. Nobody wanted it. So he had a whole crew come in and dismantle it. And fortunately, two people, the Mitchells, it was Charles and Edith Mitchell actually, had enough foresight and got with their architect and salvaged all kinds of pieces of the mansion, and that's what built this house.
So when was this house built?
So the mansion was torn down in, 1912?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And they pieced together all of the pieces after that and then started construction on this.
Oh, okay. So it's about 100 years old.
It is.
There are some newer sections, but these sections I just think are so incredible. Not the normal mansion that you would find. Not cookie cutter at all.
Not at all.
Now I'm noticing the built-ins and the plasterwork.
Aren't these incredible?
That is amazing.
Well, it looks like plaster, but think about it. That's all carved wood.
Is it really?
It is. It's all painted wood. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, wow.
The first time I saw it, I thought plaster as well. That's normally what you would think for the details that are there. But that's all woodwork.
Yeah, that's...
Stunning.
Imagine having dinner in this room.
Oh my God. Can you imagine who had dinner in this room?
I know, right. Mark Twain.
There's a story that Mark Twain actually borrowed a ham from the Huttlestons. And Mrs. Huttleston didn't appreciate that and asked Mark to return the ham to her house. Maybe that discussion happened right here.
Right here, that's so funny. I love it.
There's another room I want to show you that I think you'll really love.
Okay.
So this is probably my favorite room in the house.
Incredible.
Isn't it? And it takes some time and look around at the details. They call this the oak room, right?
Right.
Because it is all quarter sawn oak. So the striation that you see in the graining of the oak, not only is that old growth and really hard to replicate, but then layer on top of it all the details that Kirchmeier did with his team. I mean, tell me if you couldn't see Mark Twain standing right here with a cigar, if Mrs. Huttleston would let him, having a discussion about what was going on in the day, right? Believe it or not, since the Mitchells constructed this house, there's only been 3 families that have owned it. So the second family took their time and resurrected this room.
Wow. Yeah.
Took off the paint, detailed it all, took the paneling down, and manicured it and restored it back to what it would have been in Henry Huttleston's day.
Right.
And this is just one small room that was in that 85-room mansion.
Yeah, this room, I would sit in this all day long.
Yeah, me too.
It's so well appointed. You've got all the lighted shelving.
Yeah, look at this.
The leaded glass.
I mean, look at the details in the woodwork here, Jenny.
Yeah.
They're all different, right? They all tell their own little story.
It's just a one-of-a-kind, like the extreme custom.
It would be almost impossible, even if you had the skill set, to get these materials today.
Right.
And they're all still intact. I mean, anytime you see a house that gets demolished over the years, you would think about a house on this scale and what it represented. This was a Gilded Age mansion.
I'm so glad that they didn't destroy this, too.
I am, too.
And you know what? It's not like it feels like a museum in here either. Like it's very comfortable the way they have it decorated right now. This is a perfect sitting space too.
It is. It's very comfortable for a family. It's very comfortable to entertain. And like I said, it gives you that taste of a bygone era.
Yeah.
And gives you that idea and feeling of what the city of Fairhaven was like in that time period.
Can you imagine like Great Gatsby and just
oh my God,
really
F. Scott
cool,
Fitzgerald was right at home in a house like this. It's beautiful.
I mean, that's what was going on, right? There was Newport was all being built up. Rockefeller family was in Newport. Maybe they entertained them here too.
Oh, they definitely would have been here at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this was Henry Huttleston's home as a child.
Right.
The city of Fairhaven. Now, they spent most of their time in New York, but this was the summer house. So this is the house where you definitely would have brought guests. You definitely would have entertained.
Yeah.
His yacht, he would have parked it right in the harbor next door. I mean, you spend the day down at the beach because in that time period, Henry owned all the way up to the water. So the beach at Fort Phoenix was his beach.
Right.
And these are the remnants of it.
If you lived here now, you could take the bicycle to the Nantucket ferry.
Definitely could.
You could go golfing. You could go to the beach.
Yeah.
You could also park your boat at the marina.
I mean, you're an hour from Boston. You're an hour from Newport. And it's nice and quiet and peaceful.
Yeah. I think we should buy this.
I thought you'd say that.